couple of things before we leave TestFit and look at the interface to Revit. This parceling tool, you can really be quite creative too, or this slicing tool, should I say. So if I was to grab that and wait for the screen to redraw here a minute, I can go from a site boundary and really draw any kind of shape I want, and then create a whole new parcel. And obviously we don't want that parcel to be of the same kind of context here, so if I was to grab it, yeah, I could change it to a mixed-use parcel. Whatever we might want to have, and it's still an editable shape. Let me see if I can grab it here. So we have a lot of control over this kind of like secondary amounts of shape, and I really hate that zoning, so let's change that. Let's put an office building, anything in here other than that. Oops, all parking. This is one of the things I really, and we'll get into this in kind of lecture, really this idea of always seeming like we need parking lots around everything. And many new zoning codes are actually, in urban areas, are not actually even having parking requirements with them. So there's nothing necessarily inherently wrong with parking, but they do eat up. They, from the get-go with this program, it seems to include just a whole lot of extra parking, as if the whole world needed the parking solution as the predominant solution to the development. So that's the idea how we can add a parcel in. And then we have, by going under the plus sign, we can add a road. And that's really also very useful because I'm going to pick New Urbanist because that makes actually nicer roads. And I just go ahead and let's say we're going to put a street in from here over to here, maybe to come out on that road. It doesn't do, it doesn't understand that there's a road there. And the only way I can get out of this, I seem to be, is to click between 2D and 3D. But now we've had a road and the site has adjusted itself accordingly. But in some ways, there's always like, well, I don't exactly know how to connect roads yet. I don't know if you can, but this idea of being able to add these kind of cross axes really helps with the idea of urban development, so to speak. So I'm going to put another street and make just a cross travel through this site. And you'll notice a lot of nice things the software does. It creates an, once again I have to flip to 2D and back to 2D. It creates intersections, does a whole lot of powerful tools as far as solving road geometry. And, the idea here, maybe these roads are kind of over, let's see if we can change these. I'm not exactly sure if I can select that and change that to another characteristic. Doesn't look like I can. But anyway, so the idea that you can introduce roads to the site and kind of neat, look at how it parceled or bisected the building footprint that we had drawn. So another place for experimentation with the software. So next we'll look at the plugin, how we can get stuff that we've generated in TestFit into Revit, and it starts with understanding how to load up the plugin.